and thank you for joining us on the Igntr Sunday Gentleman's Talk Around, Ladies Edition, featuring yours truly, Scott Nyberg, with special guest, a mom who's got it going on, Melissa Ramirez, and now, an inquisitive man who just wants to learn, David Ensign.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this one. It's usually just a sausage fest, so to have a woman on, I don't think we had a woman on this show yet, besides Scott and my brother. Pretty feminine. A lot of Y chromosomes there. Are they X? See, I don't even know. I think the fundamental question that I would ask is, what do you want? What do you want? What do women want from us? Are we fixing? Are we listening? Do we have to hang out with your friends? I don't know. There's a lot that goes into these relationships. They are complicated, but I think we're going to talk about this for the next 45 minutes to an hour and maybe answer the age-old questions. What do you want for dinner, and why is it so hard to order at a drive-thru? Do you know what you want, Melissa, when you go to the drive-thru? Do you have that order just at the ready? Are you able to say, number 2, save the pickles?
Yeah. So for me personally, I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not a huge fast food person. Like, as crazy as I usually get is like Arby's, and I will eat a roast beef sandwich, but or
Arby's
or Culver's, but like I won't do the McDonald's, the Wendy's. Like, you know, the kids obviously are always about the, can we have McDonald's? And I'm like, you know what? I'll just drink my dinner. That's fine. You guys can eat chicken nuggets from McDonald's.
I think the question was, could you order quickly?
No, this is. But you're saying it's like, what are we doing? All I wanted to know is what you wanted to eat. 20 minutes later, we're talking about you. We're talking about you day drinking instead of you just eat the McDonald's, kids.
This is what happens to women is exactly that, right? No, I know what I want anywhere that I go. It doesn't take me 20 minutes to order something in a drive-thru. Thank God.
Okay. So the first question that I have, and Scott, thank you for putting the roll on the R as a white man. I'm sure that's appreciated, though one could consider that appropriation. I'm sure it made many of our fans extremely moist in their pants. I have a question, though. We know you as Nelson. We grew up knowing you as Melissa Nelson. And now you are Ramirez, which is, I mean, far more exotic. But how did we get to that? What happened?
I got married.
Congratulations.
And my ex-husband is Hispanic. And so when we went through the divorce process, from a male perspective, well, I guess I should say from a straight male perspective, you wouldn't know, but changing your name, I literally would rather do anything else. I would rather stab myself in the eye multiple times with a spoon than go through the name change process, because with Social Security, you have to go there in person. Like, you can't.
Yeah, they're open 3 hours a week too. So yeah.
Right.
Perfect.
So you can't do it online or anything like that. So if you need to change your name for Social Security purposes, you actually have to go to the Social Security office. So when we went through the whole divorce process, I just was like, not doing it. And also my ex-husband really hated the fact that I kept his last name, even though we were getting divorced. So it was really, honestly, just a petty AF thing for me to be like, you know what, just to irritate you, I'm going to keep it.
So it sounds like the feature was that you got under his skin. The benefit just happened to be that you didn't have to have that big investment of time to switch it back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and actually, to be honest, it makes it a lot easier when you have kids, right? Because obviously my sons have that last name. So from a school perspective, even doctor, medical,
sure, it's
just easier when it matches. And now, I mean, I somewhat regret it now, because when we filed the divorce paperwork, I could have said in that point that I was going to go back to Nelson. And I didn't, because I still would have had to go to the Social Security office and change it back and do all the BS. So I just left it. It was just really an added bonus that he was irritated I kept his last name.
I didn't realize it was so hard to get your name changed.
OMG.
I think when Scott, when they talk about the privilege, I think this is what they're talking about. We don't have to change our names.
I went to go get a new social security card, and you have the same trouble whether you're changing your name or not. But changing your name adds everything else everywhere in your life that you have to change that too. So
why'd you get a new social security card? Like a new number or just a replacement card?
Replacement.
Yeah. I always panic. I haven't had to look for a job in like 7 years, but anytime someone says, as a proof of identification, we need your social security card, my mind immediately goes to, where the fuck is that? I mean, I have a safe that I think it's in there, but I haven't really I haven't verified that in probably 4 to 5 years. They asked for the kids. I'm like, we do live in a digital world, right? I mean, I can get on a plane with my phone. I can like fucking pay for my Uber with a phone. But apparently to prove identity, I need a printed piece of paper with a fucking 9-digit number on it. That is the bar for security still.
But we look to our wives for everything. Honey, do we have social security cards for the kids somewhere?
Dude, Melissa, did your any of your former exes or your favorite exes, would they ask you questions like, do you know where this thing is at? Do women just become kind of the social secretary or finder of things around the home? What are we talking about today? What is the purpose of this thing?
The new moms, right? For dads.
The new moms. Yeah, moms. I will say, as a general demographic, moms are ridiculously underrated. Like, I don't know. Like some days I'm like, who is in charge here? Like, who is making rules? Because it's not me.
Men.
I don't know what's happening. I quit. I don't care what you eat for dinner. Like, yeah,
I give a lot of props. So I don't know if it chalks up to some sort of medical condition. The parents who are like just hyper Hitler on what goes into their kids' bodies, whether it be organic this or free range that. I think there have been weeks where we get incredibly busy and it's either pizza, chicken nuggets, or mac and cheese, and it could be a combination of all three. I need to live that convenient life right now, guys. I don't have time to go pluck the feathers out of a free range chicken and prepare the rotisserie and prepare you spring-fed reverse osmosis water or whatever it is that they're into. And to make sure that there were no peanuts or produced in any facility that may have had peanuts in it for fear that they have some sort of anaphylactic shock. Just eat the nuggets and leave me alone. And by the way, we're eating on paper plates because I ain't doing no dishes either. I don't.
I love paper plates.
Yes. How many children do you have, Melissa?
Well, that's a personal question, Scott.
I have two.
That she knows of.
I have two that I'm aware of. No, I have two. I have two boys. So Juan, the oldest, is 14 now. So we are officially in the teenage stage with that one. Tomas, the younger one, is about to be 11 in March. So both boys, I'm surrounded by penises at all times. And, cleaning the bathroom that you share with boys is literally the most disgusting experience ever.
You got to get them their own bathroom.
Yeah.
Tell Krista I feel sorry for her.
We make them clean their own bathroom. They have their bathroom. We have ours. And those ships shall not cross in the night. I do not. Anytime I see them upstairs in my bathroom, I'm like immediately on guard. I'm like, what are you doing? Who are you and why are you in here? Get out. You have a bathroom downstairs.
This is the private dad lounge.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out.
Who are you?
Do your kids wear, like I have my kids, like they'll wear their clothes once, like jeans, and then everything goes in the dirty clothes pile? Do they? Mm-hmm. And then that's one. And then I have another kid who will wear it 12 times before washing it, and it just goes into a pile. And we don't know. Is it clean? Is it not? It's disgusting. Young dudes, I assume the girls were different. Like they're cleaner and prettier and they smell nice all the time. But I don't really have any perspective because I, too, am surrounded by penises. Scott, you got a healthy blend of V's and P's there, don't you?
Scott has both.
Yeah, Charlotte's a little bit older, so she's by and large ahead when it comes to keeping track of things, keeping up on her chores.
I didn't realize kids were identifying sexually that young. Bi already?
What did I say? Oh, cute. Sorry, I wasn't listening. No, but more or less, she's still a kid. They leave shit everywhere. You got to remind them constantly.
Melissa, we were interested in having you here because Scott and I are still, I think, trying to figure out how to please these women in our lives. And so we are in a situation where we wake up every day, put one foot in front of the other, a pant, one leg on at a time. And we try to make
over it.
The women in our life happy and the kids in our life happy. It's not a winning solution, but for a cocktail, a myriad of reasons, daddy issues, traumatic childhood, so on and so forth, we are fully committed to staying the course and dying miserable and early. You, however, were someone who has experienced marriage, and now you're on the other side of that. You are out of the marriage, you are out of the committed relationship, and you have successfully navigated the dating waters. And I think that we kind of want to know your experience. How are things going? How is dating in? Are we allowed to say how old you are?
Yes, okay. So tomorrow morning when I wake up, I will be 41. Today is my last day of being 40.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's wonderful.
I survived.
So I
survived 40.
How was dating at 40? Do we like it? Tell the audience. So I've talked to several women who are just beyond excited about this because they all seem to have traumatic experiences. And I think that one of the things that we're going to get to is at least start to draw a circle around what is going on. Like, who's at fault? Is it society in large? Is it parents? Is it TV and media? Right? All the classic culprits. But, that's kind of that 30,000 foot view. I'm really interested in kind of understanding your story. So why don't you tell us a little bit about, for what you're comfortable talking about, let our audience know kind of where you started, what you've gone through, and then, which I don't think is, it's interesting in its own right, but certainly as you've gotten back into dating, tell us a bit about the modern man and maybe give us a progress report. How are we doing?
Yeah. How does it make you feel as well? Let's get through it.
So I started with doing the whole, first of all, let me preface by, I have been out of the wild of dating for about 17 years, give or take, 17 plus, right? Mm-hmm. Never done online dating before. I guess the closest thing that I remember to it is like being on AOL and someone would be like, what's your ASL? Ooh. And then I was like, is that even a question we ask anymore? Like, what do
American Sign Language? What's ASL?
Your handle?
Oh, age, sex.
No, your ASL, your age, sex, location.
I thought it was American Sign Language.
Oh, we should have known that. We catfished a number of people.
Age, sex, location.
Yeah. So what I started with, and it was kind of a weird thing, but I was on Facebook and I was scrolling and I saw a friend who had gotten engaged recently. So, obviously you post the photos, and I'm genuinely happy for my friends and family when those things happen, obviously. So, you do a little heart react, you say congrats. And then it prompted me to think, I wonder when the last time is that I looked at my own Facebook profile, like your personal information.
Sure.
So I go to that. And when I changed the relationship status to single on my Facebook profile, I noticed that I got this cute little heart at the bottom of my Facebook app and it said dating. And I was like, Facebook has dating?
So we've gone through the marriage. So the marriage has ended. It's over.
Oh, yeah.
You have now gone into Facebook and you have flagged yourself as single, and a new option presents itself.
Yeah. Right.
BTW, Facebook dating does have number 5 overall in like the match area, eHarmony and so on. So they high success for Facebook.
I'm sure your wife takes
I read that today.
Solace in knowing that you know that.
I read that today. Give me go on.
Scott flicks his Facebook to fucking single every now and then just to see what's out there.
Just to see if anything shakes loose.
David tasks me with looking up things we're going to talk about, then attacks me for them when we talk about
that's his defense when his wife catches him out with another woman. David needed me to do research for the show, hun. I didn't want
Last time we talked about she was out with another person. Anyway, go on.
Go ahead, Melissa. Sorry.
Sorry.
No, it's really funny.
So you hit the button, and is it just like pictures of penises immediately, or how do we?
Oh God!
What does that look like?
So, well, okay,
here's some dicks.
The thing is I don't think it popped right away. So I updated whatever, and then I flipped to go to my business page, my business profile, because I remembered randomly that someone had sent me a DM to my business page earlier, and I had meant to check it and forgot. So I went in there, pulled up the DM, responded, and then went back to my personal profile and noticed the like little heart at the bottom.
Okay.
So I click on it because I'm like, you know what? I'm curious. I'm bored. I got spare time now. Let's check it out. So I go and it has you make a profile and, you know, the things you're looking for. You can get really specific as far as, you know, what you're looking for in a guy. I personally am not, I don't have like a set type. I'm not like you must be 5'8" or above, and you must be this, that, the other thing. I'm much more attracted to someone's intellect, their heart, their personality versus like I'm very specific about what you look like. That's just not.
So what about like aspirational? Is it like, you know, I'm gonna generalize here, but looking for something long term, looking for hookups.
Yeah.
So you could try to filter out.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So you can get specific as you want. And honestly, at that time, it was like August when I did this. And honestly,
August 2022?
22. Yeah. Just this past summer. And I had been single, you know, for about a month at that point. And I just wasn't really sure like what I wanted, because I'm not one who, I don't need or want something that's like immediately labeled and immediately serious. I don't have that expectation.
So let's go. I'm curious about your mindset though. So
yeah,
this was August 2022. When is the last time? Let's talk about some milestones. The last time that you had been sexually with another man before that, committed relationship, doing laundry at the drive-thru, figuring out what you wanted for dinner. August is when you were like, I'm curious. I'm going to hit the button and at least explore what's out there. But then you've got so before, what was the run up to that moment from a timeline? So
I would say, I mean, probably like June, with my ex, as far as that kind of, finalized, you know, that was my 7.5 year long-term relationship, never legally married. Finally put the official end to that in July. So yeah, it was like August, and I was like, oh, I don't really know what this is about. I don't really know what I'm looking for.
But you're looking for something.
Yeah. I'm not oh my gosh. I was thinking about this the other day when I was thinking about no longer being 40 and turning 41.
Sure.
I was like, geez, I'm like, David and Scott, I was like, they have to have been as a part of my life for over 20 years at this point.
We've known each other for, I guess some backstory. We've known each other for over 20 years.
Right. Because
I mean, our idea of a good time was we used to sit at the park in my Cadillac and smoke cigarettes.
I think I met you shortly after David. Because you were friends with his gal at the time.
To go to show you like how different our lives were, Perkins and cigarettes were the tenets of this friendship, right? Failed relationships, drama around people who should now remain nameless. Because quite frankly, I don't know the libel laws. I don't know what we can be sued for. So everyone's going to get a code name at some point. But there was a lot of Perkins, a lot of chicken fried steak, a lot of fucking cigarettes, and a lot of sitting in the car in the park. Chicken tender melt. Oh my God.
Not Coffee bad. And smokes for hours at Perkins.
Yeah. Remember when my mom was a waitress down at Perkins when she was down there for a bit? She was a pretty good waitress. She's
according to Yahoo Life, open casting, what you're doing here, Melissa, or what you were talking about, is one of the trends for last year and this year. So
open casting?
Putting a fine point on what you want. Tall,
what you're saying is she puts a casting call out, and then guys will show up, and then you're like, yeah, well, let's give you a run. Let's have you do a script reading and see if you fit.
Yeah.
Right. So, well, and the thing that's interesting about, because each of the apps kind of work a little bit differently. So I did the whole Facebook dating profile. I put it out there. And then what it does is it'll just give you like a queue of profiles. So like you get one on your phone, and let's be honest, like no one is going to read somebody's bio first, right? We're all looking at the photos like, do I want to see this person with no pants on? Maybe.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, let's go read the bio and see if I still want to see you without your pants on after I read whatever nonsense you put in here, right? So it gives you these profiles. So you're doing the whole swipe left because you're like, no, I definitely do not want to see you with no pants on. Or you can swipe right, and then it's like, if that person likes your profile back, then you are like matched up, and then you can start chatting.
I see. So it's passive in that you just like, and then if they see you and then they like, then it creates matches that way.
Got it.
Right.
Okay. So there's no poking or waving or whatever the old shit used to be, where it's
check
like
the teeth.
No. It's literally.
It's been a while for Scott and I.
Right. And I was like, what is going on here? I feel like you're standing at the stockyard.
Right. Ordering beef.
How, do I want you to slaughter this one? Or should I slaughter that one?
I think I want to bang that one.
Yeah. Like, I'll take this cow.
So you had mentioned this. Would you have rather have seen... So honest to God, like, and I think that everyone has a certain proclivity or way of doing things, but would you have preferred to have just seen, like, here's a picture of me with my clothes off? Like, what are you looking for in a photo of a man? Like, when you say, I'm interested in perhaps seeing you naked and, enjoying the wares, as it were. But, like, what is your initial criteria? You're seeing these dudes, and it's like, well, what stands out to you? Like, what do you go, hey.
It's not application. It stands for application.
Because all I hear is women are, like, emotional thinkers, and I'm starting to fucking figure out that maybe this is not the case, that you're just as visually oriented as we are. But you transition quickly to other pillars of importance, where men can be primarily visual for quite some time until we reach a certain threshold for annoyance and disruption to our lives, and then we start reassessing. But as a woman, where are you at here? So you're seeing pictures. What are you looking for? Cute? Hot?
Well,
fit?
Okay, and so this is one thing that I observed, and obviously I probably have better perspective because of what I do as my fun side hustle. I constantly am taking photos because I'm showing clothing.
You have good lighting, by the way.
So like
your pictures are good. Your pictures are good. Good lighting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've perfected that, right?
It's important.
You men, I should start offering like a selfie course for you men, because y'all take legitimately the worst, most unflattering self photos.
Not good? We're not good at it?
The angles, it's like no,
maybe we're not as vain as you guys are.
You're talking about face or dick pics here?
Oh no!
Who's lighting their cock, Scott? Cock lighting.
You want it to look as best as it can.
How do I? Listen. I need this thing to look as big and as impressive as possible. Is there a backlight or something I can put?
Get your team in here. Let's get some work done.
Can I put some rouge on it? Will that help?
Maybe I could contour a little around the head.
Oh, Melissa comes by with her grooming pouch. She's got like a little razor in there.
Yeah.
There you go. Congratulations on that 3/4 of an inch.
Do they, Melissa? They don't really want dick pics, do they?
Huh?
They don't really want dick pics, do they?
No. Okay. Let me do.
I'm sorry. You don't?
No.
Pretty sure we're the ones with the penis in.
Pay attention, fellas. They don't want to see your wiener right away.
They do not. We do not want
dicks.
Ever?
We do not want it. It's okay.
There has to be a situation where a penis pic is allowed.
I can't say all the time.
You're Brett Favre.
If you're
amongst
chatting
other girls
with someone and you're a little spicy, whatever you're getting into, that's a little different.
Once we've established some ground rules.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
okay.
Just to like randomly be like, hey, want to see my dick? Like, no, I don't want to see your dick.
It'd be a great dating profile name. Hey, I'm Chuck. You want to see my dick?
I don't want to see it.
It's 1 o'clock on Tuesday. You asshole.
In the afternoon. No less.
Work, idiot. What the fuck?
So, how did you feel? Anyway. Because when you started dating, was this how you met any of your previous relationships? Or is this kind of the first time that you're looking at like a presentation of meat?
This is the first time I looked at a presentation of meat.
How did you feel? What'd you think? Like, what goes through your mind?
So weird. It was so weird. And I don't know, again, I don't know if it's just me because one, I'm not in that like 18 to 21-year-old demographic, right? Where everything is, you're used to just all of that, all those things just being online now, right? Everyone who's younger than us, you're used to everything being online. So not having been in the world of dating for as long as I had, it was just, I was like, what is happening? I don't even know. So, and this is not coming from a place of arrogance, being conceited, nothing like that. But as I'm like starting to look at profiles, I start getting all these notifications like Bob likes you, Joe likes you, Bill likes you. And I'm like, what is
Nice.
Like within moments of you kind of completing the profile.
Right.
God, guys are so easy.
Yes.
If it was the other way around, like a dude was like, he puts his picture out there, 4 days would go by.
Does it have a pussy? Cool.
Yeah. Swipe right, swipe right, swipe right. Well, and I kind of feel like
is there a vagina?
There are men out there who are doing that, right?
Saying
like
there's no discerning taste.
Well, with guys,
there are men who,
with guys, you cast a net, and then you haul in the net, and whatever pussy's in it is that's the pussy we're gonna get.
It's a game of numbers. Right?
Not all of us can be selective. Women, I think, one of the great superpowers is that you guys can be selective. The biological imperative of man is to simply reproduce. I mean, we're just looking for viable hosts to impregnate.
Women,
you, though, instinctually
women can smell.
Well, I think that there's a greater degree of complexity with women, right? Like from what I've read anthropologically, that women are seeking something far more than just a place or a seed to receive. They're looking for, at least, I think, from an evolutionary perspective, the provider, the protector, the stability, so on and so forth. Either subconscious or conscious. There, I think, more goes into the thought process of not necessarily do I want to hook up with this person, and please, Melissa, confirm or deny, but do I if I want a long-term relationship, is this the type of person that can provide those things for me? Right? Check those boxes so we can focus on maybe the dick pics at 1 p.m. Is that wrong? Is that a fair assumption?
1 o'clock on a Tuesday.
Once we've done some laundry together.
I will allow you to send me a dick pic. Thank you. No, and again, I think it's
on its way.
I already got mine today, Scott. I'm
good. I mean, it's Sunday at almost 2:30, and I've not yet seen a dick pic today, so I'm like out of my element.
Good one.
Here.
I should send to somebody. Go on. Sorry.
Is it the one where you put the cucumber in your pants and then try to pretend that was actual?
No, raw dog.
Oh, Jesus Christ! You ever seen anyone get arrested on a podcast before? Somebody's gonna swat Scott real soon. Explain that to
Scott's no longer allowed 100 yards within a school.
Don't you live right by one?
That's just as well. That's a bus depot. It's different. No kids there. No kids there.
God, you're such a dirty white boy. All right, so within moments, I like you, I like you, I like you, I like you. So now what do you do? Because now you're inundated with options. Now what?
Exactly. So again, I'm like, okay, I don't even have time to just go through this queue that it's presenting me of profiles because I have all these notifications. So I'm like, well, I guess I might as well just start there, right? So I'm like going to the little queue where it tells you, this person liked you, so I'm doing this. I start swiping right on a couple. And Facebook dating, either one of you, so once you are matched with someone, either one of you can start the conversation. So I got that rolling. And so, I start getting a couple messages like, hey, how are you? Blah, blah, blah. And the first thing that I noticed is like, it literally feels like most men they just start like interviewing you, right? They're like, what's your favorite color? What do you like to do for fun? And it's like, okay.
Number 13 on that list starts to talk about private parts.
Right. So it's like, there's some of them that
shave.
Yeah. Like immediately within the first like 10 or 15 minutes of conversation, want to immediately turn it into something super sexual. And I'm like, okay.
So they start out simply. Hey, have you watched any good shows lately? Are you into anal?
Yeah. What do you watch on Netflix? You want to bang it out? It's like, what?
Do you like stepmom porn?
Right.
Is this just the Facebook one, or have you tried any other dating sites?
Okay. Well, so I started with the Facebook dating. I was like, okay, this is kind of fun. It's not horrible. So then I text a friend who has been out in the wild of dating for a while, living life, enjoying it, going out on dates, just happy. I said, what else should I try? And then my friend was like, stay away from the Grinder and the Tinder and I said, listen, this friend was like, I know you're not a random hookup girl. You're not the one who's out there just looking for, bodies. So stay away from those because those are notoriously hookup apps. Like,
yeah, they don't ask you what your favorite color is.
Yeah, Tinder's voted best for casual dating.
Right. They don't care what your favorite color is. They're just like, let's bang it out.
Yeah. Are you available within the next hour? Is anal off the table?
Exactly.
Let's get to it.
Can you afford an Uber to come to my?
I got a 3:00 meeting. Can we get this done before then?
Anal's on the table for Grinder, though, for sure.
Grinder. So my friend was like, the only other one that I would maybe recommend trying is Bumble. I've had okay luck, and I was like the
most efficient. They say most efficient.
Mm-hmm. And this friend was like, yes, Melissa, like the bee. Okay. Like if that's whatever you need to figure it out.
What does that have to do with dating?
I don't know.
Birds and bees. Birds and the bees, I imagine.
Maybe. I didn't really think about that. Bumble is interesting though, because you actually can kind of, when you first download the app and go in, you can actually kind of pick. So there's like a section for, I think, if you're just looking for friends, and there's also the section for dating. I think there even might be one to connect on a professional level. I don't remember now. After the Bumble experience of 2022, which we will be getting into at some point, and it's good. I deleted my account from it and deleted the app, and I will never go back to it just because of.
Well, let's hear about it. Don't taunt us on that one. Tell us about Bumble.
I'm just curious though. So you can meet women or men or whoever and have certainly the romantic angle, but there's also just a Bumble friend finder.
Right. Yeah.
And
there's like
a Bumble professional.
A friend. Yeah. It was kind of cool.
Platonic play dates.
Right. The other thing that was interesting about Bumble is that you can pay for like subscription, which I didn't do. I think I did like a free trial, but basically you can't see who liked you unless you pay for like the premium, but they still present you with like your queue, like just all these man profiles. So as you are scrolling, if you swipe right on one of them, if they liked you already, then you match. The thing with Bumble is that the woman has to initiate the conversation. The man can't.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Well, that's probably the server probably couldn't handle the traffic if the men were able to initiate conversation. They'd just be like, everyone.
It'd be like,
it's bottlenecking.
Select all 500 recipients. What is your favorite color? Right. Let's get
it's 1:30 on Tuesday. You want to see my dick now?
That's why they voted most efficient, because guys aren't clogging it up.
They just message 1,000 people and go, do you want to see my dick?
You want to see my dick at 1:30 on
Tuesday? 4 women are like, yeah. I mean, why not? But why not? Yes. That's an approach, right? And if it works, if it's getting you yields, I mean, who cares if you're burning and completely destroying, 800 women at a time? If it gets you that 1, 2, or 3 who are down for your freaky shit.
If it randomly went to your phone, I think you'd be like, yeah, sure, I'll take a look.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, Scotty, this is why we're going to become Luddites at some point. We're just going to turn our back on all this. It's destroying the American family.
You've always accused me of being so Luddite.
Because you're doing because I'd wake up on a Sunday and you'd have a bathrobe on with a coffee doing a crossword puzzle on the toilet. It was like, who am I with?
Two were right.
Who is this? And this would be like 25. I'm like, who are you?
I'd be fully clothed.
You old bastard.
But yes, the rest of it true.
God, I loved you. I loved living.
What happened with Bumble? What made you just blow it up and leave?
I feel like the Bumble experience. That's like a whole episode all on its own.
All right. Well,
yeah, we're setting a baseline here, Scott. This is the problem. You don't know how to romance. You just want to go right to dick pics. Slow down. We're curious about her favorite color. Right. We're going to ask her about TV shows next.
Right now, we want to know about Melissa's favorite color.
We want to know what's going on with Melissa. Yeah, we're not trying to get right to the meat.
Abby.
Foreplay. Jesus
with my
Christ, Scott.
Eyeshadow.
Yeah. Have we even acknowledged her eyeshadow yet, Scott? Have you?
Not online. No, not on air. We have not.
You have an opportunity now, Scott. Go ahead.
Well, it's quite lovely. Is it azure? Azure? What did you say it was?
The Madonna.
Oh,
Asu.
you're voguing. She's voguing.
I am voguing. No, yeah, the Bumble experience is legitimately its own episode because there's so much with that one individual that honestly I'm still kind of confused by, but
Okay.
I'm at this point now where I'm just like, I let go of anything that probably doesn't deserve my energy anymore. So
Appreciate that.
Is that about 98% of men at this point?
yeah, it really is about, okay, let me just tell you though. Okay. So I did the Facebook dating. I did the Bumble.
Did you actually go on any dates with, I know that you did in Bumble and we'll get into that, but with Facebook, like how many people total have you actually seen in person through all of your dating apps that you've used, the various ones?
Just 2 actually. So just the one, the Bumble experience
since August,
and then
just 2.
One of the guys from Facebook dating who is actually still my Facebook friend. We're friends on Snapchat. I've exchanged numbers with him. We've had conversations. I did actually meet him for the first time a few weeks back for a drink. Yeah, he was super fun guy. I totally would hang out with him again. But again, I'm not one, like, I feel like my perspective of dating is either just outdated or incorrect now. And so I don't know if it's me and I need to adjust, but I'm not one who's like, I need you to label this and I need to be super serious immediately. No, just text me on Saturday and be like, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? Do you want to go get coffee and go antique shopping? Let's just hang out. I'd be like, fuck yeah, I want to do that. I love antique shopping. Like, that's my perspective of dating, right? You start talking to someone, you like just hang out, you do ridiculous fun stuff, and you see where it goes naturally from there.
Let's go a little bit further left though, because I'm curious. If you got, because it sounds like you were getting a ton of responses, but you had only met 2. So I'm wondering how we go from many to few. Like, what were your observations? Are these guys just fucking nuts? Are they over-sexualized? Are they predatorial? Are they freaky, just weird? They give you the creeps? Like, what was your impression? Like, sum it up for me. Like, if you had to say right now, of all the responses that I got, this is how they made me feel, or my observations of these as men.
I would say it's a lot of all of those. Right?
Really?
So you either have the one who's like, super rushed into like, let's move off of Facebook dating and let's start talking on Snapchat, whatever it is.
He was writing out the free trial.
You're right. Gotta
meet as many women as I can.
I really can't afford the $39.95 or whatever it is. So if we could get this off, if I can get your cell phone number, that'd be super. Save me $40.
That's infladating now because that's a trend this year. Infladating. People are going out on the cheap. So
yeah,
it was really just a lot of things. And
any red flag guys? I mean, guys that just not necessarily creep you out, but guys like, I should call the fucking cops on this dude because there's something going on.
Up. Yeah.
You know what? Luckily, I don't remember. I haven't had the privilege of any like super overly creepy. I mean, there's definitely been ones that are immediate, like over the top sexually, or
like how fast? When you say over the top sexually, how fast? From like, hey, how you doing to
like, hey, how are you? You're super pretty. We should totally meet up. I would love to, like, just some of just the grossest shit of like, I would love to just, and it's just like, okay, I appreciate some good dirty talk. Okay. I'll drop an F-bomb. It's fine. I'm totally fine with it. But I've known you for literally 5 minutes based on your shitty selfies that you chose for your.
Did anybody propose? Did anybody propose like a specific thing that you were like kind of initially grossed out by, but then on second consideration, you're like, would I be into this?
Well, did I really think this through? Maybe I would be down.
Maybe I was too quick to condemn you, Roger.
Yeah. You know what, Bob? Why don't you come on over and bring the weird lube that you got in Taiwan? Let's do it. I'm in. No.
The weird lube.
Tiger Bang.
Lube you got in Taiwan.
As opposed to the accepted, the normal lube. KY, completely acceptable, but your weird brand of Taiwanese lube is just throwing me through a loop.
I bought it at the store next to where I had my $3.99 lobster dinner. Like, let's go.
Lobster-based lubricant.
Yeah. Lobster oil.
Ooh.
This is my lobster oil lube.
As he's about to slap it all over his wiener, he's like, "Do you suffer from any shellfish?"
Yeah. Like, are you allergic to shellfish?
Do you have any peanut allergies?
I've been described as a shellfish lover.
So you poor thing, you're inundated with people who creep you out. I just think it's amazing that, would you say you got 100, 200, 500? How many do you think you got total?
Well, and the other thing is too, is like there were quite a few guys that I would like swipe right on to match with. And then they just like never said anything, like never sent a message, never did whatever.
Well, that's your net casting guys, maybe.
Probably
firing off.
But you know, I mean, it was a lot.
Are you still doing it?
Of those. So the Bumble experience is the one that caused me to delete my account from Bumble and delete that app. My Facebook dating profile, I didn't delete, but I put it on pause. So anyone that I previously matched with and had like open conversations with going, you can still communicate with those people. It just doesn't show your profile to anybody new.
Okay.
So
all right. So I'm thinking it might be about time to get back out there after the Bumble experience. It kind of gave me a couple of fine tuning things. Like I've been doing my own therapy work since I think I started with my therapist in like April of last year. Do you bring these experiences and Bumble on the online dating to the sessions, and they kind of help you?
Yeah. So
tweak
my
your
therapist I know I meet with her once a week. And by the way, I'm just going to throw this out here now. I don't care who you are. Everybody needs some goddamn therapy.
Especially Scott.
You got to have somebody to talk to that isn't like knowing you very well.
This is a man who, Scott, I love you, but give me a break. Don't espouse the virtues of therapy. You yourself have never gone to it.
I have been. I just don't go regularly.
Asshole. You guys know me pretty well. Out of everybody, but well,
we're sure getting to you. I mean, gosh, this life you lead. No, go on.
I know, it's super exciting. No, but I was always that one that was like, I'm totally fine. I don't need therapy. Like, I don't have issues with my emotions and knowing who I am and whatever. Yeah, I could not have been more wrong. So started my own therapy journey in like April of last year. So after the Bumble experience this fall, which I think was like October, was fine, done and whatever. I was, as I went back and like reflected on that and did some introspective work through that particular situation, I went, I don't think I was ready for the wild of dating then. So it gave me like a couple of things to kind of really fine tune and work through. And in general, and David and I have kind of talked about this high level, but I feel like, the last probably 3 or 4 years, I slowly kind of just continuously lost pieces of myself. Right. So, doing things because you don't want to rock the boat. You don't want to start an argument. You feel like you're doing it for your partner, for the other person. So you're compromising who you are. There's compromise in relationships, right? There's things
healthy
that
compromise.
Right. There's things that you do because you love the other person and you want to do these things, but there's a difference, right? Between completely losing yourself, not expressing your own feelings, what your needs and wants are, because you feel like you're then rocking the boat. So
Well,
I feel
and
like
it's a point you made too. So we talked about this offline. We basically had said that you compromise and you compromise and you compromise until you compromise so much of yourself away that you don't quite know who you are anymore. And the point that you just made, like the healthy compromise, if that person, and I will use myself as an example, so I'm not speaking for anybody else, but the traumatic shit in my past, there was a point where Krista was having to compromise who she was simply to deal with a really unhealthy part of who I was. That's the unhealthy compromise. So they have an issue. They have a hole in their soul. There's something that's going wrong. No matter what you do, there's no amount of compromise that's going to fix that. That becomes a black hole, and it will just keep eating pieces of you until there's nothing left. And then I think, oddly, at the end of that, after you've given and you've given and you've given and you've sacrificed as much as you can, they somehow, at least a lot of guys that I know, even women, will end up resenting the other person for not standing their ground. Like they stop respecting him. So it's a really weird, cyclical, and rotten loop that we fall into. Oh, hugely. I mean, listen, what is the national stat still on divorce? About 47%, 53%? 1 out of 2 end in divorce?
Now they're just not getting married these days.
Maybe there's wisdom in that. Yeah. I don't know. But at the very least, even in broader, the broader implications in society, we are not doing a particularly good job anymore of figuring out how to cohabitate and to healthy compromise, whether it be government or work. And now a lot of us get to work from home. I'm convinced that with Meta, at some point, we're just going to exist in our own echo chambers and be surrounded by people who simply give us confirmation bias all day, and we will never be challenged on our assumptions or our predispositions. And so I can only imagine what relationships look like. And so you're just breeding this hyper tribal kids, and then they have even more hyper tribalized kids. And so I don't know where all this leads to. But it is interesting to me if we go back to, the fundamental part of the human condition that needs to be satisfied. Like there's the love languages, but we all want to feel wanted, and we want to feel appreciated, and we want to feel like there's a reason that we're here, because life is fucking hard. And if we don't have that why, if we don't have that reason to kind of get up the next day and to try hard, comb the hair, put on a nice shirt, trim the facial hair, put your best foot forward, if we remove and we mitigate all the reasons for doing so, it's very, very difficult to keep going. And you're seeing in that spike in suicide and self-harm and cutting and alcohol and drug death and everything else. So it's obviously manifesting itself in the broader population. Abuse, not consumption. Generally, that's fine. What we're doing is fine. But it does say something of the hundreds of dudes that responded to you, the 2 that you thought were worthy. And one of them turned out to be a real jerk off, which we'll cover in a different episode. Because you're right. I think that unto itself is an entire episode.
Sounds very interesting.
And I think we need to get a few other women for that episode too, because that one's going to need a quorum, I think, of people.
That one was an adventure.
Yeah. Because talking to those women at the bar last night, all of them had a similar story. That there is something very wrong. There's something rotten in the state of Denmark, and so. We don't quite know what it is. I think we can talk about, what we think are the culprits, social media, toxic masculinity. But I'm starting to wonder if toxic masculinity is just being confused for lost boys who don't really seem to know or have a framework of what does it mean to be a good man in 2022. And that's another thing at some point that you and I are going to talk about. We're not going to get to that today. That is an entire episode. Like, help us create a curriculum to develop the right man. Like, what does that look like? And we need a group of women on to talk about that, because I've got questions myself. I'm not in the market, but for those and I know that there's lots of dudes who listen, not only here, but Germany, China. We got people all over the world listening to the show. And I have to assume that even they suffer from the same problem. What do you all want from us? And so hopefully we'll figure that out. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, that's definitely an interesting perspective, because I feel like I would love to have a more female perspective when we get to the what is it you want, because you two know I don't necessarily fit into the stereotypical, women
lady
qualities.
Right.
Yeah. I have a pretty healthy mix of both feminine and masculine energy.
So does Scott.
To quote your Facebook page, Boss Biatch, I think is what you're labeled at.
Biatch. No,
how much of that is a defensive shell that just keeps men from your ooey gooey center?
There's definitely some of that. I definitely have done. I'm trying to be better with that now, but I definitely have walls, right? Because I have walls for a particular reason. Because, example, the Bumble experience, you kind of let that guard down a little bit. You let those walls down a little bit, and then they
give you every reason to build those walls at 5 feet higher and 10 feet thicker.
Well, there's kids behind these walls. You gotta keep them strong.
Right. Well, and it's like the minute that you let that guard down, right? And you're thinking, okay, I'm going to take the chance this time because this person is super awesome. I want to see where this goes. The minute you do that, then you give me 50 reasons
to never do it again.
Those walls were in place in the first place.
Does that grow exponentially? Do you feel like, you get hurt once and you're like, okay, so now I'm willing to open up again, but then you get hurt again, or you get taken advantage of, whatever the root cause of that harm. But does that become harder and harder and harder for you to kind of uncalcify and to allow someone to get close?
Yeah, it does. It honestly does. And this is why, like, the therapy work, this is why I've continued meeting with my therapist weekly, because I don't want to live the rest of my life like that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to live in like a shell.
Guns drawn.
Right. Like, I don't want to live in
surrounded by landmines. Right. Ooh, I like that. Right. I don't want to live in a fortress.
I don't want to live in a fortress for whatever I have left on this crumbling rock that we call planet. But literally at this point, it's almost like you feel like you have no choice, because otherwise you set yourself up for continuous disappointment. And it's like, I don't know. It's just whatever.
There was I was reading a piece. It was a paper. I can't remember who wrote it, but they were basically saying that if people were able to just be honest and good most of the time, we would avoid most of the unpleasantness. I think that there's lots that goes on, but and you and I have talked about this before. If people were more honest, and I'll talk from a guy's perspective. And by the way, I think women have plenty of fucked up shit that they do. I don't think that this is a one-sided affair, especially today. Not. But we have created, like, I don't know if you ever saw Mad Max with Mel Gibson, but it's like this dystopian apocalyptic future in which I feel like the dating pool is just people armed up with baseball bats and spiked shoulder pads.
You figured out what women want.
Right. They're just waiting for someone to fucking be an aggressor, right? Like, we're just waiting. Well, okay, great. You seem great, but when does the asshole emerge? When do we see the real you? I just wish that guys could be more honest in the very beginning and state their intentions. Like, something akin to, listen, I'm going to be upfront and honest with you. And I was in a long-term relationship. It got pretty unhealthy towards the end. It ended about 6 months ago. I got a history of alcoholism in my family, and I'm working through some shit.
I just want to bang it out.
Is that the 45-year-old? Is that the idea? Because, like, when you're young, it's like, yeah, I work out and my hair looks fucking great. Look at my frosted tips, and I got a great cock. I mean, that seems to be as basic as it gets. But as you get older, it's like, listen, you have kids.
Frosted tips.
I did. I had them frosted tips at one time.
I know.
You saying guys need to be more honest right out of the gate made me think of Melissa's Facebook post the other day. It was from the first date and 6 months later perspective. It says, from the first date, "You're so feisty. I love that." And then 6 months later, "You always have some shit to say with your smart ass mouth."
Smart shit to say.
It's
how apropos.
Baggage isn't just weight. Baggage is filters.
You're just dealing with that every time you meet somebody new, I expect, because guys are trying to bang it out instead of working out.
But would you be open to that? And maybe not you, but maybe women in general. If a guy just came in and said, "Listen, I am not telling you in any way, shape, or form that I know what I want. I don't know. I'm working on myself. I got a lot figured.
Yes.
I've got the sexual need and I've got the emotional need. I'm working on the emotional, right?
Yep.
I'm asking you to take part in number 2, and I want to be honest with you about it. Okay.
I would be open to that, depending on kind of how things had gone leading up to that, because I'm not. Again, I don't fall into all those stereotypical, the female roles, but I personally have always been on the Wolverine in the bedroom side, right?
Ooh.
Like it's important to me. It's a thing. I like it. I'm down. Let's go. But also, I'm not just randomly out there just doing it with anyone and everyone for fun. You know what I mean?
Do you have to feel, so what are the boxes that need to be checked in order for you to feel comfortable being intimate? Where do you need to be emotionally?
Just, it's not even necessarily about having full feelings, emotions. Like I don't need to be in a position of like, oh, I think I'm so in love with you.
No, but do you need to feel safe?
But there has to be some kind of connect, like
the chemistry.
We have to just be able to at least hang out on a general level.
Okay.
Like, no, I don't want you to just come over and like do bad, good things with me and then leave.
So some attraction. Like, we got to have some level of attraction. You have to have some right?
At least be able to have a meal.
But so let's chill. But there are lots of guys who can be charming and look nice. I mean, there are attractive people all over the place, and so I think that's easier for men. Maybe it's easier for women too. Like you can look at a guy and go, "Yeah, he's attractive." The genetics match. It's good. I don't mind this.
Right.
So, but the second part of that is, I guess, is so now that we've satisfied the physical, what is the emotional threshold that you need to cross in order for you to say, I'm willing to expose, because listen, being naked and being intimate with someone is a very exposed and vulnerable position. So what do you need to be there? Like what do, and not as a generalization, like women in general, but for you, because you say you're the Wolverine,
specifically,
but how can you feel comfortable being aggressive and vulnerable, which is this weird contrasting, circle of stuff? Like, how does is that when women talk about all the hoops that men need to jump through? Is this what we're talking about?
This is the question.
This is the complication.
Color.
I mean, this is what comes after. What's your favorite color? I just have to. I mean, I have to feel a general.
Do you even know what you want, for God's sakes?
I don't want someone that's like, hey, I got 2 hours. I'm gonna come over and bend you over, and then I'm gonna go.
What if what if you get the guaranteed O out of that though? If you know there's an O.
Place for that though, is there not?
No.
I mean, there could be.
See, I knew it.
There are women and there are men who do. Like, here's my thing. I'm not knocking anyone who's like, come over, do bad good things to me, and then get the fuck out of my house. Feel free.
Whatever you're into, whatever makes you happy.
Open and honest.
Get out.
And you're both on the same page, and you are not putting
1,000%.
someone else's health, safety, your own health or safety at risk. You're consenting adult.
Right. Have a good time.
Have at it.
But I think you nailed it. I mean, it's, they used to say different strokes for different folks. And I think that, in a broader sense, it's whatever is good for you. If you're agreed kind of mutually or there's enough of those that overlap, have a great time. But what I wonder is that, I guess, I don't know what I'm trying to get to. And this is why I like this conversation. I know this won't be the end. We're going to do this for many, many episodes and get more women to come in and talk.
Lots of stuff to talk
But it's really good.
Oh my God. We have not even scratched the surface.
No, I know. But as men, there's only so deep we can go. And then we need to pull back and go back to farting and, joking about our cocks.
Talking about poop.
Yeah, shitting, farting, dicks, vaginas.
You seen a guy at a bachelorette party ever or anything like that?
We got to come up.
Too much women shit.
We got to come up for breath, Melissa. It's too much. We got to come up and get a breath. But I do want to talk more about it because I'm actually wondering, like, in this day and age of hit a button and the thing shows up, right? Instant gratification, Prime Now, Prime one-day delivery.
Can you deliver this penis to me in 2 hours?
Or can you deliver trust and attraction and... Or even can you weather a storm or a crisis in your relationship now when it's just so easy?
Do you know how to change a tire?
Well, okay. No, most guys don't. That's I mean, there's an app for that now. But the thing that I go to is that like when we live in a replace culture, which is when the lawnmower breaks, we don't repair it, we replace it. When the microwave breaks, we don't repair it, we replace it. TV, we get a new one. It doesn't matter what it is. 3 years later, a year after you get a phone, you're already looking at the new one. God knows I'm guilty of it. I guess what I'm wondering is if we have this replacement culture around everything else, are we at the same point now with our romantic partners? Where it's like, all right, listen, you've done 3 things that pissed me off, and quite frankly, I don't need this anymore. I can order ass online. What am I doing?
That's one of the things that I'm trying to figure out too, because I'm like, is no one interested in actually putting in any kind of effort anymore? Like,
and why do you need to?
Once, we've hung out once. It was fun. We had a good time. I like this person. Like, I don't understand this whole, like, everyone thinks that you should just meet someone and it's fucking unicorn and rainbows. Like, the minute you meet somebody, that is not how it works.
Right.
Even if it does, it doesn't work that way. It never works that way.
But I feel like
can we do hard?
Because you can just keep fucking swiping. No one wants to make any kind of investment or put any kind of work.
But why would they?
Into someone who's like,
next up.
Hey, this person's cool. Maybe it could evolve.
Maybe that runs contrary to everything that we're taught, though, right? Because it's AI, artificial intelligence. It's, even in my business, it's about how do we bring efficiency and how do we scale that efficiency so things become easier and easier and the commitment is less and the work becomes automated. And so we absolutely live in a society now where we expect the technology to assist us in making things happen as fast as possible. And what it sounds like is there is no shortcut to the human condition. So when you want to forge a strong relationship, I think even kids and their parents now, like you even are starting to see the fraying of the family fabric that kind of ties everybody together. They live in the same house, but they've never been more distant because we're all living our lives in our devices. We don't know what's going on anymore. We're completely disconnected, even to our own children. Not everyone, but I hear about it enough from parents. And so I actually wonder, which is making me kind of question, I've never thought about it before, is the relationship a thing of the past as we knew it?
Yeah, absolutely, as we knew it.
Right.
In general, right?
Yeah. And is this why Scott is so bad at it?
I literally just am like, would I love to find someone to just hang out with, spend time with, do ridiculous fun things with? Absolutely. I am also perfectly happy being single and handling my shit because I don't need someone to buy things for me or pay my bills. It's not about what you can give me. I'm interested in your intellect. I'm interested in your emotions, your heart, your feelings, your day-to-day normal BS, what that looks like, right? I'm not interested in what you can give me.
Do you want to live with that now, though? Honest to God, would you want to live with another man again, 24/7? You're with that person. I mean, obviously they work. I get it. You're far, but it's the day in, day out.
Life sharing, brother.
Do you want that again?
I absolutely am open to it. I am open to any and every possibility because my goal for this year, go forward, is now that Melissa has pieced herself back together to be Melissa that's been missing for the last 3 or 4 years, but she back and she ain't leaving again. I am open to anything and everything. I never say never because you're putting yourself in a box when you say never. Like, I would never do this again, or I would never do that again, because life is not black and white. Human beings are not black and white. There's so much gray, right? So I'm really focusing on being open-minded and just kind of letting whatever naturally happens to flow. So, but I'm also at a point where I'm no longer going to give my energy to anyone or anything that can't be bothered to in any way, shape, or form reciprocate that energy. Question:
like, how afraid are you of losing the parts of yourself that you've reclaimed to another relationship?
I'm not afraid of it because it's not happening.
Okay.
Like I've worked so hard at, and honestly, as part of the Bumble experience, I feel like
you're putting a lot of hype on that Bumble experience, man.
We're hearing
I'm not even kidding you. It impacted me, I think, mentally and emotionally more than I realized at the time. So I feel like I took some slight backslide, right, through that, of like doing things that I swore I was not going to do again. And so I really, the last few months have really, really been working on my reflection, my introspection, my therapy work. And I'm finally at a point where I'm like, she's not leaving again. So if you want to come aboard the shit show train, you want to hang out, you want to be part of the journey, feel the fuck free. But I am not willing to compromise who I am or what I want ever again. Like I'm not going to.
So then the challenge becomes finding someone that's complementary to you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it's like,
but can also work on some of the, maybe, you know, tearing down or breaking away parts of that wall, because no matter what, no matter how healthy we think we are, there's still, even from an evolutionary standpoint, the fight or flight, those instinctive things that are baked in that manifest themselves in all sorts of ways that we can't even begin to understand. So I think that sometimes, even if we boil it down to its simplest concept, finding someone that it's able to kind of put up with our shit and work to help find the best versions of ourselves.
Right.
That's the challenge. At least I think, maybe for me and maybe not for everyone.
You're clearly an alpha, right? Melissa, you're clearly an alpha now, so you're gonna have to find something that's either cool with that,
Wolverine in bed,
an alpha as well, so it's not intimidating.
What happens when you run into another Wolverine or a Hulk in bed? Are you guys able to cohabitate, or do you just need them to lay there and you do your business? What does that look like?
Hotter and brighter than anything else.
We've asked you what your favorite color is. We're on to question 12.
Now let's get into the center of that. Anyway,
what's your favorite color?
Green.
Officially, this is going to be like, now every time someone asks me what my favorite color is, it's officially going to creep me the fuck out. Because
as soon as they ask you, you should be like, no, I don't want to see your penis. I don't.
No, I don't want to see your dick at 2:30 on a Wednesday.
Yeah, maybe after 11, after I've had some, what is it, Moscato? What are you drinking? Moscato. God, girls have weird drinks.
Sweet dessert wine, yes.
What is that? Oh, it's a wine? Yeah. Is it sweet wine?
It is. Moscato is wine. However, I mix my drinks half and half. We have some woodchuck mimosa cider.
Oh, yeah.
So it's half cider, half wine. I also do this with seltzer. So I'll do like half Moscato or Prosecco and like half seltzer.
So I have a question for you in seltzer. Can men drink White Claw, and would you sleep with one that does?
Yes and yes.
Really?
Yes.
I've told because you're Wolverine in the bedroom. So are you looking for more of a...
So if White Claw has more alcohol than a Budweiser.
If I am an alpha male, I'm gonna grab the shotgun. Let's go out and have a good time.
You are an alpha male. Yeah.
Thank you. And Scott is a beta male. Is Scott more your type? Are you looking for someone who's a bit more on the Kinsian scale of emotionality? What are you looking for? More passive? Do you like rigid? Do you like fuck that? We do it my way. Like what do you like in men? What does it for you?
I need.
What do you want for dinner?
Our listeners want to know. Chinese men, German men, American men, they all want to hear it.
I need someone who is a combination of both, honestly, because I am a combination
of
both. I need somebody who is like, we're going to fucking Applebee's for dinner. Let's go. And I'm like, yes, thank you. I don't want to make the decision. I'm good with that. I'm totally good with someone just being like, here's your two options. Do you want this or do you want this? Because I'm good with either. And I will pick one of the two and we're good. If you literally just ask me, what do you want for dinner? Yeah, I'm going to sit there for 20 minutes and ponder it because it's going to depend on my day.
So you like options? So
if you don't give me a 5. I need 2.
What if it's approached like, hey, I'd like to go to Applebee's for dinner. Is that okay? Or do you prefer that they're like, we're going to Applebee's?
Either one. If you say
present the idea,
like Applebee's, does that work for you? I will be like, absolutely. I'm always down for fucking Applebee's wings. They have delicious wings.
Oh, they do have great wings. And by the way, we are not getting paid by Applebee's, and we are not opposed to getting paid by Applebee's.
Sounds to me like you want a guy that knows what to do and what to say in any given situation at any given time, whenever, as long as it benefits the two of you together.
What does a guy need to bat? So that's because maybe he had a bad day. And now
he can't have that.
So like, what does he have to bat? Does he, a baseball player can get paid, $100 million, get a $100 million contract if he's hitting 330, which means that out of roughly every 10 at bats, he hits the ball in play 3 times. What is the batting average that a man needs to have in order to be successful with a prize piece of booty like you?
Booty.
He's got to guess her favorite color. You can't just ask her.
Yes. Tell me what my favorite color is. No.
Your favorite color is blue today.
Listen here, woman.
And we're going to Applebee's.
Mimi. My favorite color of the day is Mimi, like this eyeshadow.
Which is beautiful, by the way. You look amazing.
Rihanna.
You should take a picture with that stuff on it. We'll go put that on a new dating profile. I bet you get 500 in the next 30 minutes.
When are we going to do this so I can hear this damn Bumble story?
Oh my God.
I'm not even kidding you. Scotty, we're an hour and 10 minutes into this. We are not getting to Bumble today.
I said, when are we scheduling that? Because I can't wait. I want to hear about that.
So we're going to do that. We're going to do that one soon. But I do want to talk to you. We have to talk about how we want to structure that, because I know that we're going to get pretty vulnerable and there's going to be some serious stuff that gets talked about. So the question that I've got is do we want to get another woman on that who's been through also some similar events, and there can be some emotional support? Because I'm going to be honest with you. I can empathize, but it's going to be hard to sympathize. I'm a 6'5", 325-pound man. Being vulnerable is very different for me than it is for women.
Right.
I promise I can be good and shut up if you guys need to talk about it.
Well, you can go ahead and start doing that now.
I'm not. I'm an open fucking book, right? I'm not gonna fucking hide shit. I will tell you exactly my experience. I mean, David is one that when I need some alpha male perspective on a situation, when I want to talk about something like that, David is one of the top people I go to, because David knows me very well. I don't like sugar-coated bullshit. So if I come to you and I say, David, this is what happened. Am I just completely out of line? Am I insane? Did I do, he's always very open and honest with me and says, you fucking crazy bitch. Like, back it up for 1 second.
But still, while being your advocate. So I may be really honest with you, but I still choose you, Pikachu. There is no other.
And honestly, you will be very proud to know that I have had a full psychological evaluation, because in order to have a medical procedure, you need that, which I found very intriguing. However, I am not clinically insane, not a sociopath. I'm good there.
Just a mom.
Just a mom.
Well, just a mom, but also clearly intelligent. I mean, you've got a machine running 110% on the reactor, which a lot of us do. So you are probably analyzing and thinking about things at a rate 1.3 that of the normal person, and that extra 30% uptick is enough to make some people go absolutely batshit crazy. And I'm certainly one of those people. I'll replay scenarios, interactions in my head, and just exhaust them to death. Right. And then I got to, poor Krista, I'll bring her into the conversation. Honey, for the 12th time, can we just hash this out one more time? I just need your perspective. David, you're fine. You did nothing wrong. And yet I'll just keep fucking tugging at it until something.
Does she ever, to shut you up, does she ever just be like, let's bang it out? Because then you stop talking.
Yeah. Perfect. I mean, listen.
She knows her husband.
Yeah, she knows. She knows what the reset button is. Sometimes a shutdown restart is required, and she knows exactly the shutdown restart procedure.
In case of emergency, break glass. That's a wife's go-to, right?
Oh yeah.
I need to shut this fool. This is going to cost me 5 minutes, and then I can go back to my story.
In case of emergency, show boobs.
I got 15 minutes to spare. Let's bang it out, and then you can shut up for the rest of the day. No.
Plenty of time.
I don't. Oh, it's been very eye-opening thus far. I've thought about turning my Facebook dating profile back on. The nice thing about Facebook dating too is, like, when you go into it and you start chatting with someone, it does not give them access to, like, your Facebook profile, for example. But there is a button in there so you can choose to share your Facebook profile with someone. So if you want to become Facebook friends and, like, you want to see how crazy I actually am, look at all my posts.
Oh, I see. Get a peek behind the curtain, see who I am day to day on Facebook, though, which is still for most people a curated thing.
Pay no attention to the woman behind the curtain.
Yeah. I mean,
what if we got you to open up your Facebook dating profile again, and then we help you find guys that we think you should go on dates with, and then we ask them to come on the podcast, and we talk about the date with other dudes, and we analyze the date, and we take, we do the whole, it takes a village approach to finding you wiener.
I love this idea.
Oh my God, I love it.
Endorse the wiener.
Because otherwise it was going to be me.
You're taking Melissa out on a date? What do you mean?
No, I was saying it's a good thing she likes the idea. Otherwise, you're going to force me to do it.
Yeah.
Amanda, I need Scott to go into the dating pool. Hard-hitting undercover journalism.
I will tell y'all right now, it is not a pool. There is not a dating pool.
It's a swamp.
I told David this the other day. It is literally a trailer park.
Oh.
There's no pool. It is a trailer park, but there are no trailers in said park. It is all porta potties, and they're all aflame.
Gross. Bunch of squatters.
This is where we're at.
Well,
it is a trailer park.
I tell you what, I think that this is a lovely opportunity for us to say, consider this in the journey of 1,000 miles, the first few steps. So I think what we're going to do at an hour and 15 minutes, and I can't believe it's been that much already,
it flew by.
We're going to cut. I think we're going to say, we're going to keep it here. This is it. We have some strategies to talk about. How Melissa gets back into the pool, how Scott and I, as stable married men with, 16, 17, 18 years of monogamy, maybe it's the same thing, can help and contribute to the... I think it was... Same thing. Yeah, same thing. But we can definitely help. And at the same time, as we continue to do this, bringing other women into the fold, and maybe... in a society that really has relegated people to feeling very alone, we can take a community approach, a tightly knit family, a familial approach to figure out how to help uplift one another and bring penises and vaginas together, or vaginas and vaginas, or penises and penises, or whatever you identify as having your nondescript, non-labeled sexual organ. Let's figure out a way to bring a healthy interaction to these private parts again.
That's right.
Important question.
Yeah.
Can I wear the Mimi eyeshadow every time?
I would. I don't think you'll be on the show if you don't. That's where I'm at.
Can that be my thing? Can we just Mimi it out every time?
Some ground rules. We all have to have a couple of cocktails before we start recording because we want to be relaxed and we want to be loose. Not to the point where we have lost control over our faculties, but we have eroded the first layer of inhibition.
So what you're saying is we don't want to do vanilla cake whiskey.
Oh fuck! That shit was so gross. Never bring that to my house again.
Did you actually watch the Hallmark Channel? No, you didn't.
No,
I think you were being a little.
Can I tell you though what it's like to wake up the next day and to have the acid burps that still somehow taste like fucking sprinkles? It is just the absolute worst. The worst. Scotty, you tried that shit.
I didn't have as much whiskey that night as you did. That's all.
God.
Scott only had one shot of it. I'm not gonna lie. I do not have any clue how much of that I drank because the bottle was just legitimately gone.
Let me tell you how much you had. I had to carry you, across my property. And this is at like 2 a.m, and I'm shit-faced because I've had...
Melissa was the loudest... Dude. And then immediately the quietest guest of the party.
But she was still, what I love about Melissa is that there's still somehow like in The Walking Dead, like there's still a part of your brain that like keeps you animated to a certain extent. So even though she's hammered and sleeping, she'd still be like at one point we said something. I think my neighbor Tom came over and he's like, "That's right, baby. Remember how you said you love me?" And then you were just like literally having slept for like 20 minutes. All of a sudden your hands just go up and you're like, "Fuck yeah, motherfucker." And then they just slowly descend and you're snoring again. So no, I had to get you in the house and then I had to come back out and get my wife in the house. And I couldn't tell you who was drunker between the two of you. All I know is that the next day you at least were able to get up and get the fuck out of Dodge.
Poor Chris.
Yeah, my wife spent the day on the bathroom floor. Recovering from
both
the
of you
world's
girls
worst hangover.
completely ruined the menage a trois. So there you go.
Well, you know what? If there's anything I'm good at, it's ruining shit. So
that's my job.
I know.
No, not you. Let's leave the rooting to Scott. They call him the human wrecking ball. All right, I'm going to guys. Did we like this? This was fun.
I had a blast, dude.
Melissa, did you enjoy it? Good.
Yeah, I want to do more. I really want to get into this. Because there's so
dude, we haven't even come close to scratching the surface. We got a lot to do here. So, all right. Guys, this has been an absolute pleasure. Special thanks to special guest Melissa Ramirez, though Nelson in our hearts, here and forever. And to Scott.
I love when people say Ramirez. It makes me laugh so hard. I'm like, really? This is where we're at?
This is the end of the show, Melissa. You have to let us do our opening now.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. Between that and figuring out what you want for dinner, we'll never get through. We got plenty to talk about. Applebee's, bitch. That's where we're going, and you're going to get chicken wings. Been great to have you, everybody, as the Igntr Sunday Gentleman's Talk Around endeavors to answer the age-old questions. What do you want, GD? We're going to continue to try to answer that question, talk to Melissa and anybody else who wants to be open and honest about the ongoings and goings-on between men, women, and everything in between. It's been a pleasure to talk to you. My name is David. Enjoy the rest of your week. Joined by Scott and Melissa today. We look forward to talking again real soon. Remember to be good to one another, be honest, be a mensch, and make the world a better place. Talk to you soon.